I've owned this camera for about 14 months now and I've used it every week for photo and video, and I don't ever leave the house without it. At the time of purchasing, the body set me back about £900. It came with a free grip and two 64GB SD cards. When researching what camera to buy, I was torn between this and the X-T4. I weighed up the differences in prices, and at the time I couldn't really afford the extra £400 for the deal on the X-T4 and also be able to afford a lens. So my options were to buy the X-T3 with a 35mm f2 prime lens, or to buy the X-T4 body only and save up later down the line for a lens. But after comparing the two cameras and seeing that they both shared the same sensor, ISO range and megapixels, and that the only differences were that the X-T4 can shoot 240 frames per second and the X-T3 only 120, and also that the X-T4 has IBIS and the X-T3 didn't, I realised that the X-T3 is much more value for money and that the small differences really wouldn't make any difference to me anyway, as when shooting video I always use a gimbal or a stabilised lens, and also that I don't think I'd ever need more than 120 frames per second for video. Although if you are wanting this camera for video, then maybe the X-T4 will be the slightly better option for you, but I definitely don't regret my decision and the differences haven't held my work back at all. The X-T3 does feel really nice in hand, although I am using the little grip extender which it came with, but it does feel like a proper premium camera, which is what it is, and it should feel like that. But comparing it to other cameras like some Canons that I've used in the past, they sort of feel quite plasticky and bulky and not very nice. This does feel like a proper professional mirrorless camera for sure. The Fuji system, in my opinion, is by far the cleanest layout and the clearest to use. I also love the two dials up top, making it super easy to change settings, and it gives it that super retro look. I've used this camera for a massive variety of stuff, from studio work to shooting adverts and weddings. The quality you get out of this camera is top class and it never disappoints. It's actually so good that I bought a second Fuji X-T3 camera, which I'm filming on right now. The Fuji colour science is second to none and always produces outstanding looking images in all conditions. Built-in film simulations are a very nice touch also. Although I mostly use the camera for photo, I have done a fair bit of video work with it as well. I pair it with a DJI Ronin gimbal and they work really great together. The video quality and capabilities with a 400 megabits per second is hard to beat from a camera of this size and price. The autofocus is excellent, with the eye tracking feature saving me a few times. It does fairly well in low light when paired with a fast lens, but I've not tried it with an older, slower lens yet. Fuji are consistently providing firmware updates, making the cameras even better as they age. The camera I first bought is not the camera I have now, thanks to the updates making this even faster and more responsive. There are a few other nice little features that you would expect from a pro level camera, such as dual card slots, a USB-C port, electronic shutter and anti-flicker modes. Overall, I would 100% recommend this camera to anyone who takes photography seriously, or even a beginner that is committed to learning the art of photography or videography. With newer cameras coming out all the time, I think that the X-T3 is still ahead of a lot of cameras in terms of functionality and what it can do, and I think it will be a staple for photographers for quite a while yet. If this video was helpful to you in any way, please drop a like and consider subscribing. I make weekly photography videos on YouTube, anything from POVs to gear reviews like this one. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Go buy an X-T3 and I'll see you in the next one.